Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are on the planet Earth. My name is Stephen Beach, I'm producer for the Byte Extra Crunchy Podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome. It is Byte Extra Crunchy, Extra Munchy. We are here with episode 110. It is basically a week after we posted our Apple Byte version of the iPhone 10 review. Tons of stuff coming in here, but again, this show is all about y'all. So do you know how to be a part of the show? Guess what? All you got to do is call us. The magic number is 1-800-616-2638. Leave your name, where you're from, your comments. We got some good ones today, but we do always have to filter out through some of them. So we apologize in advance if we can't get to them all. But yeah, that's how you be a part of the show. It's episode 110, Beach and Tong, going strong. And let's just jump right into it. The top news of the week that just dropped today. Believe it or not, right? We know that Time Magazine has their top kind of 25 list of the best inventions of the year. Mr. Beecham, what device from Apple, or maybe multiple devices, did you think made that list?
The iPhone X. That is the headline.
That is incorrect. Actually, the iPhone 10. The iPhone 10 made the list.
Thanks for the correction there.
I don't like to correct people. I love it when they say X because everyone says X. Everyone says X. So this is Time's yearly list of best inventions. I kind of wanted to go down a few of them just to kind of give you and guys and gals a perspective of what they selected. And it's fun because you can kind of see where things are moving. One of the top ones was this robot. I don't know if you've seen it.
Dude.
It's called Jibo. Have you heard of that? You've seen that. Didn't we do something with this thing?
I covered Jibo 3 years ago. I found it in a Crave video. So yeah, that's awesome.
So it's this kind of robot, but it has this head that swivels. It looks like something from, a Pixar movie. It has expressions and gestures that move. Sure, you're like, I'm not going to pay $899 for one of these things. But what makes it special is kind of like how they're starting to add these human-like gestures that we can relate to. Like, it kind of bobs its head or swivels it. It kind of reminds you of like stuff that BB-8 did, where you saw an Android type robot droid have movements like that. I thought that was a cool one. Another cool one, the Ember mug. Have you seen this thing, bro?
No. I got to check it out. The
Ember mug is $79.95. It's a ceramic mug with this base that's a heater. It's a smart mug. So they always talk about, like, look, your coffee, all you coffee lovers out there, if Raj Mathai is still watching with us, I know he takes his coffee. But you know what? Your coffee's going to taste different whether it's super hot or super cold. So this mug heats it just right. You can set it anywhere from 120 degrees to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And it is like the sweet spot. It's $79.95 for this mug. This might be like
expensive.
Yeah, but dude, it keeps we're first world problems these days. It keeps your coffee like perfect. I think there's a lot of cray people that are going to go for that. So that's just a couple things that were fun. Obviously, the iPhone 10 is on that list. I had nothing but overall, I have my own criticisms of it. But at the end of the day, if you want to get this product, you're kind of, that there's not going to be a headphone jack. That there's not going to be a home button. There's going to be no Touch ID. But if you're willing and ready to jump on kind of, this is Apple's concept car of the future, and you're okay with that, I think you're really going to love it. If you're not, and you're not ready to, that's fine. But that's who they're kind of catering to, the hardcore gadget people, the hardcore iPhone fans, and really the hardcore Apple fans. But we know that this phone is selling bonkers. I think the wait time right now is 2 to 3 weeks if you order in the US or Canada. So iPhone 10 made Time's top 25 best inventions of this year.
I just spotted one thing on this list, the portable wearable breast pump. That's pretty interesting.
I think we did a review with them, but I wasn't able to be used as a test subject.
For obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, I could have, but I don't know if it would have worked. I don't think I would have given it a proper review, dude.
Yeah. Need a legit review for that one.
All right, so we will talk more about current things happening around the world of iPhone 10, but we're going to jump into a couple kind of like, let's look way down the road and talk about iPhone 10 in 2018. Are you guys, do you want to hear about this, Beach?
I do. Yeah.
You do? Okay, check this out. KGI Securities and well-known analyst / supply chain / rumor guy Ming Chi Kuo, his latest report says Apple will launch a trio of new iPhone models in 2018. So here we go. 2 of those models will be OLED screen based. You'll have your current 5.8-inch iPhone with an OLED screen, then a larger 6.5-inch screen with an OLED, and then a third model that falls in between with a 6.1-inch screen that is going to be an LCD-based screen.
Wow. So, yeah, this is a lot.
The report, according to Quo, he expects the 5.8-inch model to have the same pixel per inch density, that's 458, that the current iPhone does. He also suggests that the 6.5-inch model that will be larger in size will have a slightly higher pixel per inch density, which would be at somewhere between 480 and 500 pixels per inch. And then the 6.1-inch LCD-based model will have a pixel density of 320 to 330. I like to call that model the iPhone blurry. Because you're going to be like, this is not as sharp as like we're used to seeing. But they're trying to target basically this mid-range, so saying this out loud is silly, a mid-range to low-range market with the LCD-based 6.1-inch iPhone. That's what he believes. The two OLED screens, actually all three phones across the board, are expected to get the true depth camera sensor, the top-notch phone design, and that is what is right now reported as what we can expect to see for the new iPhone 10, iPhone 11, iPhone 10. Are they going to give me an iPhone 10 Plus? They're going to give me the iPhone Dos Equis? I mean, they'll probably stick with something like an iPhone 10 Plus for the big one. We'll see what they call it. But 10s sounds weird. Don't you think 10s sounds
tennis? It'll be like tennis.
It'll be like iPhone XS. It'll be like iPhone extra small.
Someone, Mr. Vidiot in our chat room is saying, the notch on every phone. No! Like there's a notch on every one of these phones here. Or at least 4 of them.
We know we've said it before, notch my iPhone.
Please.
This is notch my iPhone.
So then another person in the chat room, I'm sorry to keep referring to the chat room.
No, you keep jumping in.
But Brian is DBDX in the YouTube chat says, Brian, is OLED really the future? I love my X, but I've been told they don't last very long.
Well, historically, OLED does have image retention and burn-in issues over a long period of time. I think what'll be interesting to see is we saw those issues creep up on the Pixel 2 XL screen. Apple has said, because the thing that's maybe different with Apple's screen is that not only is it an OLED screen, they have special chips that also aid in the performance of this screen. That is why it was rated the best screen ever on a smartphone by DisplayMate. It's both Samsung hardware and Apple's chips working together. And then Apple has made it a point that they've optimized software so that it reduces the potential chance for burn-in. At least after week 1.5, week 2, we are not seeing reports of any major image retention from the iPhone 10s yet. Now that could change, right? In a day, we all of a sudden it could be like, we're starting to see burn-in, but up to this point we haven't seen any. So it's going to be really up to how Apple is trying to minimize that. But over the course of time, we know even in TV sets it happens. So it's always important not to just keep it on the same thing, or you just don't want to leave a single image. Like if you're on a video game and you pause your console and you leave your screen on in that same spot, you're probably going to get a little bit of it. There's ways to reduce that, but we'll see how it fares out for the iPhone 10. I mean, the main advantage of OLED is the deepest, darkest, inkiest blacks, which give you the best image quality possible and give you the widest contrast ratio, largest contrast ratio that you can see on a screen, and that's why it looks so good. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's one of those things that you just kind of got to wait. But I'm all for the OLED movement. We've had Samsung screens with OLEDs for years. They have exhibited some burn-in over time, but guess what? The sad and sick thing about it is we typically get rid of these phones after 2 years or even 1 year now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So we'll see how that all plays out. Another story coming out to us from Bloomberg is that Apple is targeting to have a rear-facing 3D sensor for the 2019 iPhone. So we know we have the True Depth sensor on the front. Apple's looking to put its own 3D sensing camera or sensor on the back side for 2019. What makes this interesting is it's using different technology. So we know that the true depth sensor that scans your face, it basically shoots a light on your face. It projects a pattern of 30,000 laser dots and then kind of measures the change and distortion. That's how Face ID really builds that image of your face. But with this new rear sensor that they're hoping to look for, they're going to be using a different method. It pretty much, they call it a time of flight approach. And what that means is if you have lasers that are shooting out, and kind of like with a laser focusing system on the LG phones, this time of flight calculates the time it takes for a laser to bounce off something. So if it has a laser shooting in different directions, ultimately it'll be able to scan and build a rough 3D environment from your phone, and it gives you that kind of sense of, okay, this is an entire room. What we have found is with ARKit on the Apple iPhone 10 is that it can do some really great augmented reality things. It does typically excel when you're talking about putting things on a tabletop surface. There's like a game called, I don't know if it's called My Pet Dragon, but it's something like that. I've goofed around with it. It can do measurements really nicely. We've seen examples where tabletops work well. It can see a table, but when it comes to vertical surfaces like walls and doors, it's not really there yet. It's not nearly as accurate. It can't see that. And so that's why they would need something like this laser time of flight sensor on the backside. And this is Apple's push to, right now, I would arguably say they're the leading consumer augmented reality device out there on the market. They want to make an even bigger leap by putting a rear sensor on there as well. So according to Bloomberg, this is what they are looking for and targeting 2019 for. This will not affect anything with the true depth sensor on the front facing camera. This is all new technology for the rear side.
Nice.
So there's even examples of like how there's things where you could place like a tiger on a stand on a floor in this article, but when you have like a pole in the way, it doesn't really see the pole. It just really sees the floor. So those are those type of, augmented reality things that are in the way, but augmented reality still has major potential. We're going to see it really come to fruition once developers get their hands on the iPhone 10. I would say maybe 3 or 4 months, we're going to start seeing some crazy stuff. A year later, we're going to see even more crazier stuff, more crazier. It's not even a word. We're going to see crazier stuff. So it's just get the tools, get the hardware, get the software into these amazing developers' hands and let them go to town, and we're going to be able to reap the benefits of that.
So I feel like if there's the sensor on the front and the back, it's going to be able to do weird things like measure a room, or there's so many other potential things that it could do that I'm just popping into my head right now, like measure a room, or just measure like an object or something, and then allow for like spatial augmented reality games, or where there's a border or something in a room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, what if you just sat in your living room and it mapped out the room, and then all of a sudden you're in this like one first person shooter where creatures are coming out of the walls, but you're just sitting on the couch in your room, right?
Yeah,
it just becomes like one of those gallery type shooters. Like that's the type of stuff that we know people are working on, and it's just going to keep on getting better and better and better.
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
sounds pretty exciting. But I mean, also, it's scary that there's lasers shooting out of my phone measuring my whereabouts,
Frickin' lasers.
Frickin' lasers.
Frickin' lasers. All right. We know that the iPhone 10 and every phone that comes out is not without some of their obstacles and issues that do affect it. And the iPhone has its bumps and bruises, no doubt. It's still a great phone. But guess what? The Pixel 2 XL has bumps and bruises. I still think it's a great phone. Some people will say it's not as great, whatever. That's you could figure that out between yourselves. But the current iPhone 10, right? Remember, when they launched Face ID, they kind of put out this beacon to say like, hey, Face ID is really secure. 1 in a million faces can crack it. You can't work on photos. It doesn't work on masks. This is the most secure kind of security sensor for your phone. Well, that was just like, hey, to the world, try and break it. So guess what? People broke it. And this is a cool little story from a Vietnamese developer called BCAV, and they basically tricked the iPhone 10's Face ID with a mask. And what they did is they pretty much cobbled together a composite mask made up of 3D printed plastic, silicone, makeup, and some simple paper cutouts, which in combination tricked the iPhone into unlocking their phone. Now, the video clip in that article, Beach, they just show them like kind of talking about it and how it works. But this demonstration so far, it's been shown off. It has not been confirmed publicly by any like third-party source. But there's some interesting stuff about this. The actual developers, they found it wasn't as hard as they thought it would be to actually hack Face ID. The quote that BCAV wrote was, "The recognition mechanism is not as strict as you think. We just need half a face to create the mask. It was even simpler than we ourselves had thought." So
I'm watching this video. It's funny. He's got like the paper. He put a piece of paper over his eye, which is like just a picture of an eye, you know?
Yeah.
This is really weird, man.
So they've shown it where they reset the Face ID versus, an actor, and then put it against a model. They've been clearly they haven't talked about it as well. They aren't kind of exposing all of exactly what it is, but maybe it's not capturing as much data as we think. And this might lean towards what that caller last week asked about the kind of the Face ID conspiracy theory. Like, did it make it less secure? Yeah. We will never know. But if you can actually trick it by only having certain features, it's not. Look, no one's going to do this anytime soon. It's not like you have to worry about someone making a copy of your face. But clearly, if you could do it on like some model, maybe if someone's a little more high profile, it's an issue. But this is all Mission Impossible stuff.
I worry about people making a copy of my face and using it for evil. So, and you too, Brian. But then they'd have to copy your hair too, and that could be tough.
Remember, Face ID adapts with haircuts.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It does.
You know what? One thing that people don't talk about, like people aren't. See, this is the thing why when we do our iPhone 10 reviews, it should be more experiential. One time where Face ID never works with me is when I have my toothbrush in my mouth.
Oh, really? Huh?
Because it's like this thing like hanging out here, and it must cover or just not give a complete face profile, and it immediately kills it. Sometimes when I have my sunglasses hanging off of my cheeks and it's like down here, it won't detect either. So there's always these different like examples of when it will work or when it won't.
Huh, that's funny. Like
yeah,
I could see myself using my phone while I'm brushing my I could picture myself doing that. So I don't know. First of all,
you don't have to worry about it, man. You got a phone with an actual home button.
Hello, and I got iOS 10, baby. Yeah.
That's something we're cheering about for many people. Honestly, you should be cheering about that.
Look at this. Look at this beautiful iOS right here. Oh yeah. Oh, I could just. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Oh yeah. There's no bugs. 3D Touch works. All right. If you didn't think that you were worried about someone making a mask out of your face, check this out. This is kind of might be the fun video of the week. An iPhone 10 with Face ID was unlocked by a 10-year-old kid who was able to take his mom's phone that had her Face ID profile put into it, and then it was unlocked. So the mom shows like, hey, my Face ID is working here. I'm going to stare it, and I'm going to unlock it. She then later hands over the phone to her son, and then he just stares at it, and the phone completely unlocks. And so it's kind of interesting because it raises the question. Apple hasn't responded to anything about this, but it's like, okay, how secure is this phone? Now we're seeing that it works with people of not twins or brothers or sisters. We're talking about different ages, different genders, and it works.
That's funny because they do kind of look alike too.
They look very similar.
He did it right away, man. No problem. And then he dabs.
You got it. I mean, when you're 10 years old, you got to dab. Why wouldn't you dab?
That's funny, man.
It's totally not played out to dab.
I know my kids wouldn't be able to unlock my phone because they don't look like me very much. They look more like their mom. But that's a problem because you don't want your kids being able to unlock your phone and like get in and do weird stuff and look at videos or So that is a problem.
You don't want nobody wants that. In another Face ID story, this came out from the Nikkei Asian Nikkei review. We talked about Face ID in the phone. According to their reports, this is again way down the road. Apple may be working to include its Face ID technology in the HomePod by 2019. Now, I thought this was interesting because remember, way back, I think sometime in April or May of last year, there were rumblings that Apple's actual HomePod would have a video camera that would feature some kind of facial recognition. There were actual reports about that back in May. Now, obviously, it didn't make it for this first generation HomePod, but clearly they've been thinking about it. They've probably most likely have been testing it. And why is that advantageous? If a device knows who you are and you have different settings, different accounts, different music playlists, preferences, contacts, it needs to know who you are so that it can serve that information. Now with Google, it learns your voice, which is awesome and can distinguish between different members of the family. But at least Apple is trying to potentially taking this facial recognition approach to distinguish between different users.
Nice.
It's cool, but voice, being able to detect a voice is way better. It's faster. You don't have to look at anything.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's way better to just detect a voice. You also have to be in the line of sight of the camera and this and that. So
I'm saying, like, cool. Why do I want to walk up to it? I don't want to walk up to it.
I don't want to walk and look at it. Just like
I don't want to. Ain't nobody got no time for that. All right. Should we take a little breather and give some love to our sponsor this week?
Let's do it, man. I'll get some music going here.
Let's set the mood. This episode, ladies and gentlemen, is brought to you by LinkedIn Learning, now featuring lynda.com content, the leader in online learning for the past 20 years. LinkedIn Learning is for problem solvers, go-getters, people want to make moves in their career. Maybe you want to master Photoshop. I love Photoshop. I mean, how do we do some of the crazy stuff we do in their show? Got to use Photoshop, design a website, expand your creativity. Everything you need to achieve is on LinkedIn Learning. So whether you shoot photos on your phone or DSLR camera, it can improve your photo skills. Courses range from basics like composition and exposure of pictures to intermediate tutorials, landscape photography, advanced techniques like shooting RAW. LinkedIn Learning has courses for all experience levels covering a wide range of technical skills. So I logged into my account. It's basically a service that is part of your account. I got to check out the latest Photoshop stuff because they are now at Creative Suite 2018, I believe. They just bumped it up. Oh, wow. And so I use Adobe's creative services on the cloud because it's worth it for what I do in my profession. So I checked it out. They have not only do they have lessons, they have video versions, they have transcriptions of it, and they have all the assets that you can use. Because back in the day, I told you guys last week, I built my very first website on my own using the product at the time was Adobe Go Live. Like I did it all on my own. I read and did these tutorials. It was crazy. It was fun. It was but it took a long time. So LinkedIn Learning, they have it all there for you. It's in their website and just something that's really cool and worth taking advantage of. So check this out. There are no hidden charges or upsells. It gives you access to all the courses you want for one monthly price. And we've got a special deal for you. You can get a free 30-day trial with LinkedIn Learning today by visiting linkedin.com/crunchy. So all you do, linkedin.com/crunchy, check it out. And it does work from your computer, your tablet, or your mobile device. So it's not like you have to be at a desktop, which is pretty cool.
That's a whole month of free education, man. So
that's what I'm saying.
Definitely take advantage of that. That is awesome.
All right, shall we keep on rolling?
Let's keep it going.
More iPhone 10 issues. I'm sorry to break your hearts, y'all, but it happens. The iPhone 10. What do you think about cold weather? Is it going to be able to hang in the cold?
Dude, this is don't bum me out right now because I take my iPhone snowboarding, I make video, take pictures. Don't bum me out right now.
At the moment, some users have complained that the handset screen becomes unresponsive in cooler outside temperatures. Apple said Thursday, which would be, I think it was last week, Thursday, that it's working on a software fix for complaints because the phone does indeed become unresponsive in some cold weather. Yeah. So I'm wondering, people have complained about this. I've got to imagine if you're in a really cold, if you're living in a cold city, like during this Christmas break, they have not fixed the issue yet. I mean, you spend $1,000 on your phone and it's not working in the cold. Yikes.
That's like 3 months of the year. You're not going to be able to use your phone properly unless you're indoors or something. They better
update that. They better update that, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
get on that now. The other issue affecting some phones, it doesn't seem to be too widespread, but it is enough where, look, this is a visual thing. Maybe you guys and gals have seen the green line. I don't want to call it the green line of death, but it's the green line.
Oh, man.
It comes down on the side of some of these phones. And one of the beliefs is that basically TechCrunch reported that the iPhone 10 display uses this new what they call a diamond subpixel pattern. And so it could be the fact that there's an electrical fault causing voltage to flow to all of the green subpixels, creating a line like that. And, you know.
I'm just laughing, man. I'm just laughing at this.
Beach, you're so insensitive. You're so
got
insensitive.
green line. You can't use the letter I. Can't use it in the cold. Your kids can unlock it. What else, man? What else? I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't need to be sorry. You're just cracking
real,
me,
man.
Cracking me. You're hella cracking me up right now. Oh, that's too funny. Too funny. Anyways, check it out. This is an issue that can't really be resolved by yourself. You got to go take it into Apple Care, whether it's mail it in or go to a store nearby or a service provider. But you're not going to be able to fix this one. But there is one thing you can fix: the notch. The damn notch.
I love this. I'm looking at this right now. This is wonderful.
Check it out. It's called, it's a free app available on the App Store from Apple. It's called Notch Remover. And what I like about it is it allows you to basically, through this app for free, take a photo that you have and then you basically have to have it in your photo album on your phone. And you can select a photo. It'll frame it for you. And then it removes that notch on the top. Again, this is only going to work for like your home screen and your lock screen, but the notch no more with the Notch Remover app. There's also another cool website if you want to play with it yourself. It's called notchless.space that I was sent. They have some really cool wallpapers already in there that you can download, but then they also offer up their tool, basically their template in Photoshop, so that you can build and create your own wallpapers if you don't want to use the app. So just kind of some different ways for all you. It's a really, like I said in my review, it's a really divisive thing. Some people love it, some people don't. I'm in the camp that I feel like it's unnecessary, so I kind of make it disappear. But hold on. I did embrace it though. I had to get on board with this.
Oh, nice.
I had to get on board.
Wonderful.
I mean, it just makes me laugh and reminds me how like silly it is. It's like, that's it.
Hey, people in the chat room are saying an update came out today for the, I think it's the green line.
Really?
Yeah, someone's saying in the chat room that came out today, and then
you know what iOS version it is. Since we'll do this real time, just chat us with what version of iOS is it, like 11.1.2 or something? Because they just released 11.1.1 to take care of the letter I issue, which was funny because it was the letter I and it was like I.
That's funny.
11.1.2 people are saying, okay, that's good. Cool.
And then someone else also said that there's another app called Nacho, which gets rid of the notch, but it costs $1.
Well, I didn't recommend Nacho because not only does it cost $1, if you want to get rid of the Nacho watermark, they ask you to pay $2 more. That's baloney.
Oh, and this update also covers the green line and the cold non-responsiveness.
Well, this is why we do this real time, baby.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys.
Shoot. The community is part of the show. I'm telling you, like, we don't know everything at every moment, so we got to do it like that. Love it. Thank you, Apple Byte Nation. You guys rock. All right, this is a cool thing. In the latest beta for iOS 11.2, it was revealed that the beta adds support for faster 7.5 watt charging, wireless charging on the iPhone 10 and 8. So when it first came out, the phones supported up to 5 watts. There are actual charging pads like Belkin's that go up to 15. Apple said they would release an update later to give you faster wireless charging. So at least in this 11.2 update, it does support 7.5 watts. Here's the other thing, though. 9to5Mac actually ran their own test to see, okay, how much faster is it? Is it because technically they're saying, oh, we're going to give you 50% more juice. Early testing shows it's a little faster, but it's not that fast. And again, you do have to have charging mats, according to Apple, that are partners with them that support this, that are kind of support their cheese standard and basically Apple's flavor. Although we'll see how true that really is. Sometimes they just like to say that, just like you shouldn't buy a third-party charging cable. But the Belkin and Mophie wireless charging pads are the two that are compatible with this right now. Again, this is in the 11.2 beta, but according to 9 to 5 Mac, after an hour, the 7.5 watt charger was only slightly ahead. At the end of a 2-hour period, the iPhone 8 Plus that they had on iOS 11, not 11.2, reached a 40% battery life, while a same phone running 11.2 using the new 7.5 speeds based on software hit 47%. So it's a little faster. It's not like you're getting 50% faster. You're just getting a little faster.
That's cool. Faster is better.
Yeah, no matter what, it's better. Or just directly plug that thing in a USB-C charger that you have to pay for because Apple makes you want to buy it, and it costs you like 70 more bucks.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You don't get the fast USB-C charging when you buy your phone. You got to pay for that.
Premium.
Don't you love it?
Premium stuff.
Premium. If you're wondering, everyone is trying to come up with a iPhone killer. If you're wondering what the iPhone killer is, it's actually an iPhone. Okay, so let everyone is trying to take down Apple, and the funny thing about the iPhone killer is actually an iPhone. So this is what we're talking about. The iPhone 10 has been obviously very successful, so successful that it's coming at the expense of the iPhone 8. There were reports about that, but according to the latest analyst notes, Apple is expected to cut iPhone 8 production by 50 to 60% from December to March because the demand is just hardly there, since all of this demand is shifted over to the iPhone 10.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So the iPhone 10 is kind of killing the iPhone 8. So we have our first iPhone killer.
Yeah.
The iPhone 10.
So they're able to measure that pretty quickly. It's just been like a couple months, and they're like, whoa, we need to slow down on the 8s.
You got to slow your roll. So based on inventory levels, they can adjust that pretty quickly. So that is what's going on with that. I'm going to jump ahead to just some iPad news. We talked about how the iPad is expected to get Face ID, and it's also expected to get kind of that slim, almost bezel-less design, right? There's concept pieces out there from Benjamin Geskin that just show off like there's going to be, guess what? If you don't want a bezel on your other devices, this is going to be bezel-less as well. So the iPad Pro 2018 model will get that all-new design, but also it's expected to have a fast octa-core, an 8-core A11X Bionic chip. So there'd be like the next evolution of the chip that's inside the iPhone, which is already insanely and ridiculously fast and hasn't even been utilized to its full potential. So the iPad Pro 2018 will get all the goodies that the iPhone 10 has, but in an iPad Pro design, which is pretty cool. And then it's gonna make me want to buy one.
Nice.
Bezel-less.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
The bezel-less guy.
Do it again.
Bezel-less iPad.
Do it again for me.
Bezel-less. Hey, wait.
Bezel-less. Bezel-less. Bezel-less.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh! Dropping the beatbox. All right, so we have that iPad, and then kind of the story before we get to our calls that closes things up. This story is funny to me. Microsoft CEO was walking in India, spotted 2 journalists with iPads, and he wasn't all that impressed. Now, he did say this lightheartedly for the record, but he told them cheerfully, according to the report, "You need to get a real computer, my friend."
That's the punchline. Microsoft CEO walks into a bar, sees a couple iPad users,
tells them, "You need to get a real computer, my friend."
Oh, I need a laugh track for that.
It's okay. He was trying to be funny. It's just another CEO doing little digs. But I will admit, the Surface Pro is not as easy to use, but it's a full-fledged computer compared to the iPad Pro. I love my iPad Pro, but that Surface Pro can do everything.
Do you want to try that joke one more time?
Which one? Oh, you want me to say, okay, so like Satya Nadella walks into like a press room and he sees 2 reporters with the iPads. And what does he say to them? He says, "You need to get a real computer, my friend."
Okay.
Oh,
That wasn't the one I was looking for. I was looking for. Oh, yeah, that's not the one either. Anyway, I messed that up. My bad.
I was like, what? Why is the devil laughing all of a sudden?
Oh, wait, this is what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. There we go.
There you go.
That's better.
Round of applause. All right, should we get to the phone calls?
Yeah, thank you guys all for calling. We got a lot of good calls this week. And we got some bad calls this week. But we're going to
remember, we're going to play them all.
We're going to play them all. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to tease it again. Yeah, before you play it, I'm just going to tease it. 1-800-616-2638. That's how you call. That's how you're part of this show.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here comes number one.
Okay.
Hey, Beach and Tong. It's Tyler from Charlotte. So my question is whether or what you think about Samsung and Apple as far as have they reached a ceiling with innovation and technology in the cell phones? Before I could see where they were going, but now I still think they have a lot more room for improvement. And I was wondering what your thoughts were. All right, thanks. Have a great day.
I think there's always room for improvement. I think that there will always be something new that we didn't even think about 5 years from now that is just going to hit just because, look, as an actual functional device for what we do every day, you can say that these products have plateaued. If you're looking for something game changing from a phone, I don't know if we're going to see it anytime soon. Is AR going to be that next game changing thing? I think it's going to change how we do things, and maybe look at information through our phones, see things as in heads up displays. And to me, I've said it for a while, I think the next big thing is going to be whoever cracks the code for the augmented reality glasses that we'll see years down the road. But from a phone standpoint, the innovation's not dead. These can get a lot slimmer. They can get more responsive. They can get bigger. They can get foldable. 3D touch is still severely underutilized, which I've said for years. So I think, and 3D touch was something that came out of nowhere. No one expected 3D touch to happen. So unfortunately, Apple hasn't utilized it as well as I wish they did. So I think there's always going to be innovations and things that happen. Is it going to transform our lives like the first iPhone did? No, because these are all iterations on a device. But there will be another device that does that. I would say the most transformative device that we've had so far in the past 3 years has been the whole home smart speaker, personal assistant. And there will be something else after that. So there's always innovation, my friend. That's why we love this.
Yeah, we are kind of stuck in this form factor of just the rectangular phone. But that could change, and what the phones do, obviously. So cool. All right, let's go to the next call. Here we go.
Hey guys. So I was wondering if anyone has seen the letter I in their emoji keyboard. So I'm seeing it within my frequently used, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I just wanted to know if anyone else has seen it. Thanks.
I think he needs to get iOS 11.1.1. But there's that like kind of old school looking eye that appears on there as well.
Oh, is there?
Sometimes I've seen it, but I wouldn't freak out. I mean, just update the phone, man.
That is funny though. It's like it got moved from the emoji, from the regular keyboard to the emoji keyboard somehow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, next call.
What's up, Stephen and Brian? It's me, Garrett from Phoenix, Arizona. I just got my hands on the iPhone 10 and I absolutely love it. I think it's a remarkable phone with its OLED and HDR display. My only gripe that I have, though, is the small indicators up at the top of the phone. I cannot stand that there's no battery percentage or that it lets me know that I have Bluetooth on. I have to go down to notifications to get that kind of information, and I can't stand it. Do you think there'll be an update that just lets you customize what kind of indicators you have up at the top of the phone? Thank you, guys. Love your show. Have a great day. Bye.
Wait, did you say Apple and customized?
Well, let me get that laugh back. That laugh.
That's the devil laugh right there. You know what? This is one of my biggest complaints. Why I feel like, look, you have the notch, make it a solid bar. I put in my review, put the utilities right below the bar, and then give us the ability to see all of them. That's what I've been. They could have easily fitted in there. They didn't do it, and they haven't even. I even wish they could just change the icon of the battery so that it's a little bigger, and then you could just see numbers inside of it. Just do something to show us that. Give us that option. When you actually charge your phone in on iOS 11 on the iPhone 10 for those first few moments, the actual battery icon kind of grows for a second, and then it shrinks back down. So why not keep it a little larger? Put a little. Give us the option to see a percentage in there. That's not that hard. You're so cruel. You're so bad. You're so bad, Apple.
Oh man, yeah.
You're so bad, Apple.
Okay, let's do got 2 more calls. Here we go. This one's real quick, I think.
Beach, Tom, quick question for you. I'm interested in maybe getting an Apple Watch, but I don't like big watch faces and prefer the smaller size. Is it like okay for guys to wear the smaller one, or is that really just intended for ladies? Let me know. Thanks.
Okay. This is one of the best calls ever because our friend calling in is keeping it real. Like, that's just like an honest. It's just so hilarious. Like,
He's
look,
worried.
Yeah, I would honestly say I don't have the biggest wrists, and that doesn't correlate to any other parts of my body. Let me let y'all know that. But I don't have the biggest wrists, and I'm like, why did I even have to bring that up? I don't know why, because I know the comments. I already know what people are gonna say. I think it's not even as a dude. I actually prefer the larger watch.
Yeah.
I just think it looks dope. And guess what? The easiest way to do it is try them on the store. If you like the smaller watch, then dude, do it. Because ain't no shame in my game. I wear a lot of things that people question. Like,
yeah, I would actually prefer the smaller one because I don't know. My watch right now is a little too big. It just feels kind of clunky on my hand. So I'd prefer the smaller one so I could just move faster and just feel like a little more compact. I don't know.
I would say, I don't think I've said this in this show specifically, but the Apple Watch Series 3 is an amazing device now with watchOS 4 and the speed of it and the LTE version. I can do so many things with it that make it actually a device that, again, Apple's kind of started to figure this out, that stands on its own. I'm really enjoying my iPhone Series 3 LTE. I was not the biggest fan of the Apple Watch, but once it gets to the point where I'm like, yes, it's legit now, like absolutely, I'm going to be like cheering about it. And the Apple Watch Series 3 LTE is worth like being like, this is it. Like if you held out the past 2 years, this is the one to get for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you've been kind of selling it to me on the last few shows, so I'm going to add that to my Santa Christmas list.
It's only like $3.99 for the LTE version. I mean, you do have to pay $10 more, but dude, I'm working out and streaming like content. Like, come on.
That's
on
right.
my wrist, and then text messaging and taking calls. Oh my God. It's like, it's crazy. It honestly is pretty badass. And I don't take it's like, again, you need to be that person that wants to use it at the gym like that or work out. But if you do, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Cool.
First world problems.
First world.
Okay, we got one more call?
Yeah, we got one more call. He has a little gripe.
Okay.
And then he also has a plug for himself, so we might stop it before the plug. All right.
We're going to stop it.
Hey, Brian and Tom. I called last week because it was my birthday, and I said that one of my gifts was an Apple Watch Series 3 without cellular. And I asked you if you thought that over time, will the watch get outdated and stop supporting updates? Yeah, I was a little disappointed they didn't play my call, but hopefully we can play it this week. And please follow me on Instagram at the.
No, we're not gonna follow you on Instagram,
dude. You know what he called us? Did you hear what he called us, Beach?
Brian and Tong. Yeah, Brian and Tong. Clearly, he's a fan.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Tong. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Sorry, we didn't play your birthday call and your Instagram URL.
I think we're good without it. I think we're okay.
But he did. He got the watch, and he wants to know if it'll be updated eventually to include LTE. I believe I think that was his question.
Well, there's already an LTE version of the watch. I'm getting confused by what he was asking.
Do you want me to play it one more time, just the beginning?
Oh my God!
Hey,
fine.
Brian and Tom. I called last week because it was my birthday, and I said that one of my gifts was an Apple Watch Series 3 without cellular. And I asked you if you thought that over time, will the watch get outdated and stop supporting updates? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wants to know it was without cellular, and then I think he wants to know if it will over time get updated to be able to do that.
With the speed of this watch is going to at least last you 2 years. And it sounds like 2 years, but yeah, most Apple devices, the way that they run the hardware and the software together, and they say they optimize it. Once your device is like after that 1.5 year, 2 year window, it performs significantly less with the latest software. So, if you get to the 2 year point, I really do recommend most people stick with the OS that is on that phone instead of going for the next one. We've seen it enough times where just like, for example, someone on an iPhone 6 and 6S, iOS 10 works better on it than iOS 11. It's just a fact. So cool. That's my advice to you. Stay thirsty, my friends.
All right. Well, that's it, man.
All right. We are done. So remember again, everybody, be a part of the show. We want to hear from you. I think more of you have started to get your iPhone 10s in. I want to hear what you think of it, just what you like and what you don't. And yeah, maybe just one thing you like and one thing you don't, because we want to get through all y'all. Call us 1-800-616-2638. That's the number to get to us. We will keep on rolling from here. We will have a show next week right before Thanksgiving. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll do it on Wednesday.
Okay, we'll do it on Wednesday. Excellent. All right, Beach, are you good?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. Take care. Be safe. Peace.